give you some more details so that when it comes to your decision making time, you will know what to choose for yourself in the purchase of these Apple gadgets. We'll be getting into the conversation shortly and I'll be introducing my guest. But before we do that, we would like to share with you what has been happening in the tech space in the past week. So take a listen to the emerging tech trends. We will be back after that.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Poma Eje. In our headlines, Apple isn't packing a charger cable in with the AirPods Pro 3. Also, Spotify finally rolls out lossless audio. And PlayStation launches new app for parental controls. And finally, Apple is giving iPhone 14 and 15 users another free year of satellite features. Let's settle for the details now. So Apple's new AirPods Pro 3 won't include a USB-C charging cable in the box, Mac Rumors reports. Buyers will need to use an existing cable, purchase one separately, or just rely on wireless charging. Apple says the move could reduce weight, though it may frustrate users who don't already have spare USB-C cables. After years of delays, Spotify is officially launching lossless audio, and unlike earlier rumors, it won't require a new subscription tier. It's included for all premium users at no extra cost. The rollout begins over the next 2 months in over 50 markets. PlayStation has released a new family app in iOS and Android that lets parents manage their child's playtime on PS5 and PS4. Beyond existing console settings, the app offers tools like activity reports, visibility into what kids are playing, approval for extra playtime, spending limits on the PlayStation Store, and customizable privacy settings. And finally, Apple has extended free access to its satellite connectivity features for iPhone 14 and 15 users by another year. Originally launched with the iPhone 14 in 2022, the emergency SOS VAR satellite service was set to be free for 2 years. Apple later added a bonus year for iPhone 14 users, and now the deadline to begin charging has been pushed to November 2026. And that's it for this week's episode of Emerging Tech Trends on Joy Geek Squad. My name is Denisia Poma Eje. I will catch you same time next week.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. MTN, everywhere you go. If you're joining us tonight, we're having a conversation on the new release by Apple. It has to do with their new gadgets, phones, and for us, we want to talk about it to know the pros, the cons, and then, when it comes to decision making for you, you know what to do. But for you listening in, I want you to send me a message on the WhatsApp number 05511119997. What will make you change your phone at any point in time if you're using a particular gadget? Is it because of the release of a new one, or what will just make you decide to change the device that you're using? Send me a message on the WhatsApp number 05511119997. So coming over to my guest, he's in the person of Kenneth Awachene Dakon, and he is a tech enthusiast and also a colleague here at Multimedia Group. Kenneth, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Yes. And it's exciting to talk about what we are going to talk about this evening, mainly because I know that for a lot of people who use iPhone specifically, there are so many times that when it comes to the new releases, they are really looking forward to what will come.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just good that we're going to be having this conversation. And just before I continue, let me introduce my second guest. He's in the person of Michael Ashale. He's also a tech enthusiast and a colleague. Michael, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great. So I'm just going to start first off with a general view from the launch that happened last week. I'm going to start first with you, Kenneth. What are your thoughts, initial thoughts?
I think even before we entered the studio, we're having little conversations
yeah.
about how it went. For me, as an Apple enthusiast, this rollout was one of the ones that weren't too impressive comparatively when it comes to like the other rollout that you have done so far. I mean, the last time we had conversations about an Apple event, we were talking like, I mean, high tech things that were very new in the space that haven't been done anywhere. But the ones that the from what we have seen over the past week and the comments from other enthusiasts who have also tested the platform, it looks like a lot of the innovations were not quite as exciting as we would have expected. The only new thing that was thrown into the fray was the iPhone Air, which is also having its own separate backlash.
Seriously.
I mean, because we know how Apple operates. I mean, you're always comparing the iOS to the Androids amongst other things, and we always talk about the fact that Apple always has a way to present things, even if they are already in existence. They have ways to present things in a very new
to let their users
way.
feel so unique.
Exactly.
You know?
But from what we have seen so far, there hasn't been the usual buzz that you have around it. The buzz that have come around it so far has been just backlash upon backlash, and it's quite understandable because the expectations are high when it comes to the iOS end of things. So for me, it hasn't garnered the sort of positive attention that I was looking forward to seeing. I don't know about what Michael thinks.
I mean, for someone who was already on the beta version of the iOS 26, I wasn't so much impressed.
Okay.
It was, like he said, I think that it will be, funny enough, right, this will be like the very first time that there's a WWDC that I didn't watch live. And until knowing that I was coming to be on the show today, I didn't want to watch it. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting much. The only thing that I was looking forward to that I have read and seen and know that I won't benefit from with my current phone was the vapor chamber aspect of the whole thing. That finally, I mean, if I manage to buy
now,
a 17, that is only when I'm going to make sure that, okay, I mean, when my phone is overheating, I know that there's a way that is going to cool down.
Cool it down.
Yeah, exactly. But beyond that, really, it's hard to pinpoint what will stand out for you, because everywhere on every other device but an Apple device, it's making strides with AI. You know that especially with the Google integration, right? That's the only thing that I'm jealous about the other ecosystem. Yeah, really, because you are thinking about what, like the questions, you know, how people are using their ChatGPT now, like they are layered queries, right? It's not like what is the name of a dog or something like that. No. They're asking questions that you have to dig a little bit. So I'm not getting that on iOS. Then really, I'm wondering my options, whether my next phone should be the latest iPhone or my next phone should just go back to an Android. So I just thought that the biggest thing we're all waiting for, at least if not for the vapor chamber, would have been the much promised AI integration into the whole iOS multiverse that we didn't get.
Even the last event before this one, there was much talk about the Apple Intelligence.
Yes.
And so from how they focused so much on the Apple Intelligence, it was expected that this was going to be a very prominent feature in what they were about to roll out.
Like, can you imagine that? Like, the biggest thing that your Apple Intelligence can really do is Genmoji. Like, generating emojis.
That's what.
Like, I haven't even used it after how many weeks of coming back on iOS. I'm like,
I've used my
you have, right?
Okay.
Okay. At least Kenneth has.
Genmojis
anyway.
No, like, so really, I mean, Apple is a fantastic device to use any day, especially because if when you're installing applications, that's when you realize the use case scenario for Apple any day. That they always ask you that, should this app be allowed to track what you do on the app or not? You rarely get that with the other devices. Usually is a wholesale, they dash your information, your data to the next
particular question,
third party.
I've stopped even allowing it.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you're not on Apple, maybe some of these things, they don't ask you directly whether we should share your information with a third party. But that is what, of course, the other people get to sacrifice a bit of your data to get the wonderful AI integrations that you get. But something I appreciate a lot to use iOS. But beyond that, really, no, there's nothing that I would be clapping for iOS on or Apple on this particular launch.
I get you. You made a statement, and I just want to ask a question on that. If you have been an Apple user for some time, would you want to change that to Android?
It's tempting now more than ever, but still no. I want to stay where I am. I used Android for so long as I could, and when I moved, I appreciated the change. I appreciated the change 100%.
You appreciated change from Android
to Apple, yes,
okay.
and I don't think that I want to look back anytime soon. But this whole fight
with
between
the way the tangent they are heading.
Can you imagine using ChatGPT and tomorrow, like one query you send and then you're on another device and then all the adverts keep coming in? But with Apple, the promise is that even with the ChatGPT, this is going to be on device.
Yes,
and even for the ones that it cannot do, it's going to send it to a cloud-based system where it's going to run and send you the information, and that information will not remain on the servers of ChatGPT. So it's a promise that I'm happy with. It's a sacrifice I can make in the interim. I don't know how long I can hold myself from jumping ships, but it's a good thing that I want to stay with forever, at least as it stands now. I definitely don't want to be. So many times you jump on regular browsers and you just enter your stuff and then all the ads are everywhere. In fact, now I've stopped allowing third-party cookies, and when you do that, the site doesn't work as it should.
As you want.
It's a big problem, but it's a debate I think that Apple itself must settle with, because I know how much money they're pumping in so much, and they stopped the Apple vehicle construction stuff, put all the money into Apple Intelligence. We still don't have so much to be happy about. There's not so much intelligence in this intelligence. So hopefully we get.
But I think that there's one feature which has to do with the AirPods, the Pro 3, when it comes to like the live translation. It's one feature that I feel like they really,
but that
did
is
some.
there for other ecosystems.
But you have to be on a 15. You have to be on a 15.
Exactly. That is also another thing about Apple.
That is the point.
That's the thing.
That is why it's not as exciting, even though it's something that they are thinking that is novel, which other people are already doing. So we are expecting Apple.
This is what happened last night. A friend called me. We were talking about the WWDC and the new things, and she was happy to like charge her phone. Her phone was at 18%. She needed at least 20% before she can run the new to install the iOS 26, and she was happy about it. I told her that. Wait, are you aware that you won't get Apple Intelligence? I was like, what?
Because of the model she's using on her phone right now.
Yeah, because she's using a 14 Pro Max. Like, oh, sorry. You won't get it. It's like the biggest promise, the biggest share of the pie, you won't be getting it. And I think it's a
thing about Apple. The users are usually forced to get the new.
I think it's a technology thing now, right? That they promise you that it will give you updates for 4 or 5 years. So in fact, I was using an 11. When it got sports 4 months ago, and I decided, when I came back, it went straight to a 15, because I knew that going back to my 11 was disaster. You be getting updates. In fact, the iOS 26 ends with 11, so it means that from 11 upwards, exactly. So if you are using an XR and the likes, forget it. You're not going to get a 26.
You don't want to use those features.
Then that is they forcing you really into a psychological battle with yourself. Then eventually you have to settle that.
Psychological battle.
That's what really happens.
That's what it has become now.
So I agree with Ken. There are few takeaways, and again, amazing integration. That if you get this translation, it's going to be on device. It's not going to be something that you need regular internet connection for it to translate some of these things for you. You just have to download the languages, and once you are done, it always will be there available for you. I love it that I can now finally, after God knows how long, record a phone call. Like, as a journalist, you know how stressful that really is.
Oh yeah. We know Android.
For Android people, you've had this forever.
We know you've had it.
We
forever.
haven't.
You know the interesting.
We were waiting.
We can't do that.
My husband would just come up and said, initially I'll be like, oh, but Apple hasn't. But now when he just comes up with it, I'll be like, yeah, Samsung, this one we give it to you. Like, seriously, we know that.
We've been doing catch up for so long, but it's a good thing to have finally. Like, there's good justification as a journalist to have an Apple device without needing your colleagues from the Android section trying to help you.
That was the one thing they were fighting.
Really, it's a good thing, and now you get translations for the audios that you also record. Except still, when you are cutting your audio in their recording device, it's still a problem. That's just for journalists, but really for the general population, you rarely use some of those applications. So I love the additions to the translations, the live translations to your phone calls, to your all of that. I appreciate it so much. I think
It's
that is
like
one of the
welcome to
biggest.
party, and it's a good thing that
Yes,
they've,
yes, yes, yes,
they've
yes.
joined the party.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Talking about the airports, in the news, we heard about the fact that it's no longer coming with the charges. We want to just touch on that a bit.
So it's something that we have seen in, I mean, a lot of the upgrades that have come with a lot of
Happening.
devices,
Yeah.
and people have talked about the fact that it's a strategy to, I mean, market and sell some of their products separately, which is one. I mean,
One
on one
aspect,
hand,
yeah.
it's good for their marketing, but when it comes to the consumer side of things, it's not something that
Doesn't look good.
we are willing to spend an extra for. I mean, all of these devices. It's one device. I mean, if we buy the thing in a box, let us have everything that.
What if you started this thing in the first place?
I think it's just capitalism.
Because the phones used to come with the cables and the charger heads, and then
And everything, but now you have to buy everything separately, which is becoming, I mean, a problem. I don't know why.
And it's not much of a problem for me because I mean,
rich
if,
men.
if,
You
no,
know?
I mean if it's Type C because it's now law, right? Standardizing the charging ports for most of the devices means this Type C. It means that your HP charger actually literally can charge your
phone
Type
as
C
well.
phone. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it now. It means that I don't necessarily have to remember to always carry my small charger with me. I could just walk around with my
Anyone's
HP
charger
charger,
you can.
and I'm okay. I mean, it works for me anywhere I go. I bought a new charger a week ago. I haven't used it personally, and after the testing phase, I haven't used it. When my charger is on hand, I'm done with my laptop. I just sleep by my bed. So I'm like, just remove the cord from there.
And
So
just connect it.
yeah. So I'm
Like with
guessing
one charger,
why
you can-
a lot of them would do that, especially because of this whole moving away from wastage. But how is it wastage if I'm buying a new device from you and
Exactly.
you're not giving me how to charge it? I have to go and buy a separate charger. But I understand actually. But in Africa, it's a bigger problem. I mean, our situation is so different from those in the quote unquote developed world where, I mean, you're more likely to buy an original charger from anybody at all
okay.
compared to buying a charger separately from your original phone in Africa, in
Yeah.
Ghana specifically,
Yeah.
in Accra. You're more likely to buy a fake charger.
Yeah.
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 So I just thought that it would have been a good addition that no matter what you are buying, they always give you at least a cord and then the head.
I think probably they are of the view that you may already have the previous version of it, which already has a charger, and you can use that. So to reduce waste, then let me just give
Anyways.
you the gadgets without any.
Yeah, but the other thing also is that the Type C I mean gadgets are very limited. It's just the 15,
Yes, for
16,
iPhone-
17. So
iPhone
I
usually,
mean,
yes.
if you have to look at
For
the fact that
15.
people already own those cables, you'll be doing a lot of the users a disservice.
Ken,
From those who are coming from-
you are in office, right?
yeah.
How many people use Apple?
That is the
Generally.
thing. That is the
I am
thing.
happy. I am happy. In fact, it was a blessing that I didn't know of that. I wouldn't be having to share my charger with other people now.
That is
Like
is-
so many other Apple users will
and
still be on their
I've been
lightning
fighting
cable.
with Daniel Kranti over this a lot of the time because he loved to use my cable a lot. And then I
Hallelujah.
moved from there to a 50.
Type-C,
and then all of
yeah.
a sudden, anytime he comes to ask me for my cable, I'm like,
Hallelujah.
bro, we are not in the same league. Let's respect ourselves. And he always gets at me for that. But I mean, those are some of the challenges that we'll have to encounter in this space that we are in right now. If you want the best of devices and be able to catch up with what technology has to offer. These are some of the challenges that we are beginning to encounter, because you mentioned the fact that it's an issue of standardization. That is why
Yeah.
the Type C became a thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
Apple was literally forced to do this.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
because
yes.
generally
I spoke
for
about that.
Samsung and the other phones that run Android or let me just see, generally the other ecosystem apart from iOS, they usually are easy to change or conform to what people are using now. And Apple had to be standardization, had to be an EU law that
But
forced them
I'm
to
sure they
do
wanted
this.
to just feel special, like we are in a bubble. That's what I always say when it comes to
But
Apple.
that
So you
bubble
have
must
the-
come with ease of use sometimes, and I don't think that
People will be
charging
going around
port would have been a
iPhone charger,
problem.
iPhone charger.
Yeah, honestly. Like, can you imagine being at a wedding where the majority of people will not bring their charger, but you are looking for a specific charger now? That was always a big problem.
Yeah.
So to have to know that, if a friend who's doesn't even use my brand of phone,
Yeah.
I could be rest assured that possibly they have a charger. It will be a Type C that I can use now. It's a good thing. But
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
why shouldn't the new device
Anyway,
come with a
for
charger?
Apple,
It should
they-
always come with a charger.
Yeah, they think most people will already probably have it, so why should we add another one? You have two of them. And you know the interesting thing, talking about that right now almost every uh gadget that I buy, it could be just what lamp, it comes with a charger, right?
Yeah.
As it stands now, I have about three new chargers
Which you
Type C,
haven't even used.
which I haven't used. They are there because the old ones that I have, I'm using to charge them anyway. So I'm sure probably those are some of the statistics that they checked and said.
But typically, that would that fall under the conversation of wastage? I strongly doubt that.
I think
I mean,
if
having a
you're
backup
not
for what you
using
already
it,
have, no, that's not
like
necessarily
three backup.
wastage. I mean, wastage would be when yeah, three backups. You never know because you see, you may just travel and you leave it at the hotel,
You see,
and then
that's being
when you come
careless.
back to Accra, you're not thinking about buying a new charger. It has its uses anyways, but yeah, I agree with generally the conversation about cutting waste, but I don't think that the charger is part of that waste. We've recycled too much of our mobile phones and our devices now that a charger should not be part of that conversation of wastage.
Well, they chose not to.
You know how an original charger is expensive? Like the chargers that you can buy at Circle, I'm sure people are buying it for
That's why Kenneth
100
also said
cedis and below.
probably they want to capitalize on that. They will sell this separately. They will sell that separately. But
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good for it's good for the marketing and sales team.
Yeah.
They are benefiting off of that because I mean, if I buy my phone, I need to buy a charger to be able to go with it. If I decide to go along the tangent of reducing waste, then I might not have to go and buy a new charger. I have to come and ask Michael actually. Michael, I need to come all the way from the 4th floor to
Yes.
come and ask you
yeah,
for
yeah.
your charger.
Don't try it.
Now let us get into the features of the phone. I think what I want us to start with is the iPhone Air because it's the latest addition. Michael, the way you are smiling, what do you have to say about that? We talk about the features, the size, and then our views on it.
I think that is it's one of those things that only pushes the frontiers of innovation. But as to whether it has real life use case, like personally, it doesn't. There's no justification for me to use such a phone because already, as thin as the phone as we have it now really was, the problem was handling it and being careful with it that it doesn't break too soon. So to have a very thin phone, it's a problem. And
Princess,
and
you
I,
don't
I
have
get
one.
the argument for every other person in the world listening right now thinking that it's because you don't have money. I don't think money really is. I don't think Dangote will even want to buy the same phone more than one in a year. I don't think even he will be down with that idea that you have a breakable phone, like phone that I think that and knowing that it's
Why do
an
you think
Apple
it can
phone
easily
too.
break?
No, I
Is it because of how?
Most people use their phones with phone cases for a reason
Yeah.
because the original cases it comes with are so slippery. So you are fighting for something that gives you more grip on your phone. So to have a super thin phone that could easily slide from my hands, my fingers.
That's how
No.
you. But if you've bought a phone for how much and you are holding it, will you let it easily slip? I'm just trying to get what you mean.
I mean, I
by
get
can
it that for the
easily
first
slip
month you'll
from-
be very careful, but 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, when you are so used to it and the initial feeling of fear of your phone falling down runs, that is when you become a bit careless sometimes. You could have that phone on the table, you could hold it, put it in a back pocket, it could break. I mean, those are some of my fears personally as an individual, but again, I agree that's one of the things that pushes the frontiers of innovation that gets other people to do things. We know so many times when Apple has done something that pushes many others in the industries to also do same. I mean, this whole ecosystem conversation really started with Apple
Yeah,
when they are thinking
yeah,
about how
yeah.
to keep people within having their own app store and all of that. Really, so it's a good thing, but I rarely see the use case for the ordinary individual who wants to use a mobile phone for just a phone call.
Kenneth, your thoughts on that?
So for me, all that Michael
Michael.
said, they are very, very, very valid concerns because if you look at the fact that the iOS line of mobile phones are some of the highest in terms of pricing, you would want to consider the customers or the consumers' needs or the consumers' longevity in terms of using such a device.
Yeah.
And so if you make a device that is very susceptible to all of these unfortunate, very
Incidents.
slight incidents that can just lead to you, I mean, damaging it. And considering the part of the world that we are in, I'm speaking from the African perspective, it becomes even more pronounced. The challenge that you have to go through to be able to replace a screen, to be able to fix a destroyed charging port, to fix a camera, and all of those things, to get a battery replacement is a very tedious process from the third world country. So for us specifically, I would be surprised. I know people are definitely going to go for the devices, but
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if, I mean, looking at the level of, I mean, the income brackets that a lot of the users fall within in these parts, it will be very difficult to sustain using a device like the iPhone Air.
I think
for
they've
me.
thought about it. That's why they don't have like a dedicated Apple office in Africa and in Ghana specifically. So, I mean, they thought that they know where people buy their phones. They already know that China and the likes of part of EU and the US. For the US is the biggest market for them, and usually they're looking forward to India and China because they are two populations put together. It's almost half of the world's population. So if you get 10% of Chinese and 10% of Indians,
You know
that's
that.
a lot of money, a lot of people buying your phone compared to in America. So I can understand why usually do not be considerate of what Africans in Africa will think about their mobile phones. But for those who are texting me about skin pain and all of that because I don't like it. I mean, I can agree. So someone has sent me the specs for Apple Air, so I'll do all of us a favor and just walk through some of it.
Yes, let's
So
do
we
that.
understand again the Apple tag that this is the thinnest iPhone ever.
Exactly.
Definitely, they didn't say the thinnest phone ever. Thinnest iPhone ever.
iPhone.
It's
Yes,
about
yes,
5.6 millimeters, with a grade 5 titanium frame, thin, light. Well, they promise that it's going to be durable. It's an
Yeah,
A16.
that's why you're talking about breaking. I'm saying if you're going to go ahead and do something like this, I don't think it will easily break as you're putting it. But anyways,
we'll
you said
wait.
it's your fear, so we
We,
can
we,
continue
we,
with
we
that.
wait for the tech tubers, MKBHD and the likes
Yes,
to
yes.
review it, and we'll see what really go. We know that it has an A19 Pro Plus, Apple's new N1, and then the C1X cellular modem for high efficiency. That means that your connectivity is going to be very strong.
Yeah.
And then the display is going to be 6.5 inch
6.5.
Super Retina XDR display. That's a lot. That is going to do. I mean, for the ordinary person, I don't think you notice some of these differences. I mean, when we talk about how far TVs have come and being able to see black, people don't even understand. Like, you can now literally see black on some TVs. And that's what some of the phones are now promising, that you can watch it in high contrast. That if you are watching a movie in the dark and there's a dark scene in it, you see the smallest bits of light that moves. So some of those things are great for movie lovers, and it's going to be great for some of you. But again, I think that it's a great phone. And hopefully, for those of you who can afford Prince and the likes, buy it and let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Very
so
interesting.
even the iPhone Air, I understand that it also comes with well, you might have to purchase it as well, but it comes with like a separate battery pack which you can add to the back to be able to prolong the longevity of the charging that you have. I mean, the power that's in it. But then the other conversation about that as well is that if you're very confident in the fact that your new introduction to the iPhone range is so powerful in terms of battery life, why are you immediately recommending that there is also a battery pack that you're supposed to also attach if you want to see prolonged life?
Or there are many people who possibly will be putting their phones under a lot of pressure. I mean, for those who are videographers who be using it on the sun and the likes, maybe this it has a use case for some of this. And again, a lot of the technologies that come out are tailor-made for some groups of people.
Yeah.
I don't think that if you bought an Apple for your mother, she'll probably be able to use half of the battery on it every day, because arguably it's
What she will
a
use it
little bit
for.
of TikTok
Yeah.
and then phone calls and that's compared to say somebody like Prince who'll be on his phone sending emails and talking to all the people that he needs to talk to every day. So I mean, for different groups of people, the battery life may differ for you.
That's true.
And I think that we'll just give it some bit of time. We'll see whether it'll be one of the things that Apple will continue to develop for a long time. That gives us 4 phones a year now, right? You have the base phone, you have the Pro and the Pro Maxes, and then you're now going to get an Air. That's
Yeah.
it's I just don't like the bit of the psychology. Pardon me, my background is psychology, so a lot of these things I'm thinking about it that way. I'm like, why would you put a light at the back of the phone? So that when I'm in the crowd at the Blacko event in December, everybody will see that this boy is using the oldest version
flex,
of.
for flex.
Oh
for
God,
flex.
mercy. But yes, good phone, and I can't wait for the reviews.
Yes. Apple is calling it the thinnest iPhone ever.
Ever.
However, the thinnest smartphone in the world is the Vivo X5 Max, and that's measuring 4.7 mm. That's the Apple Air is 5.6
5.6.
millimeters, and it was released in 2014. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Almost a decade.
Yeah.
No, more than a decade
Yeah,
ago.
it's more than a decade now, and it
Wow.
still holds that record. So yeah, we're waiting for who will try it
Soon
and break it.
Soon
But
we'll break
I mean,
it.
talking about the air, some good sides of it is the fact that it's light too.
Yeah.
For some people who don't really.
Have
like
you held
to
a 15
carry-
Pro Max before?
I think
Very
this
heavy.
one is Pro because I decided not to go with. It's very heavy
This is a Pro Max.
and it's
Very
heavy.
heavy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Very.
it
So
is.
that's the thing. So if you're not someone who is really interested in carrying heavy phones, then yeah, the Air is something that you can be considering. Okay, we can look at that. Okay, can we now talk about the Pro, the 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro? Kenneth.
17 Pro is, I mean, that was what, like the very typical expectation of, an advancement of an Apple product is what I see in a 17. That is why, you would realize that all of the backlash is coming towards the iPhone Air.
The Air instead.
Because it is very, it's textbook advancement. 15, if you have a pixel of 47 or 46 or whatever it is, in the next one you're expecting a 48, which is what we are seeing in the iPhone, the new 17 right now.
Yeah, 17.
If you have very good display on the previous one, this is very typical. These are the things that we saw in the latest rendition of the iPhone, and we think, for me personally, I think that was a good advancement. Those were the features that have been introduced in there. The battery life has been increased a bit. Some of the chip that is using the A19 chip, it's a very good improvement from what was being used during the 16 as well. So all of these are basic things. I don't think there was any new or very extra significant things that came with the iPhone 17. So for me, it is a good phone. It is the usual advancement that we're expecting, and so there's not so much to even discuss when it comes to its novelty, when it comes to the changes in what we have seen so far. It's so far the cameras, the battery lives.
I don't think I really liked it though.
What else were you expecting? What else were you expecting?
Anyways, Apple. So what
Exactly.
was I expecting? I didn't even know what I was expecting at this point.
Exactly. So for me, I think they did their best, what we all expected them to do, from migrating from what the 16 was to the 17. And maybe I'd like to touch on some of the specific features. Maybe that would just give our listeners a fair idea of what the 17.
We'll talk about the 17. We can talk about the Pro too.
Exactly. So the one extra feature that I thought was interesting was the center front camera.
Yeah, center stage. Yeah.
The new addition to the dynamic island. They've added like a what they call the center stage front camera. So it's a square, a micro square, let me put it that way. You can see with your naked eye.
Yeah.
It's a micro square, and it has up to 18 megapixels. It has dual capture, ultra stabilized, and 4K HDR video. So it is typically good for moving shots, like moving selfies. If you are filming a video or if you are filming video in a selfie mode, for instance, you are jogging, you are running, you are at a concert like you mentioned, jamming or whatever, and you want to have yourself, see yourself in the video, you are able to, it just stabilizes the shots in a way that no matter how you move, it will try its best to keep you in a very stable position so that it doesn't look like it's shaking the whole period, which is good for athletes as well, people who are into very vigorous physical activity as well. It helps them to be able to stay in shot while they are filming themselves, because right now everything that happens goes on social media. Most of the things that happen go on social media, right? So if you want to tap into the evolution of that area as well, ensuring that there's stability in your shots is also crucial, because you wouldn't have to necessarily get a gimbal to hold your phone. Like we were talking about, people have very different uses for their phone. So if you're
Yeah.
someone that is into high res, I mean, video production and all of that, this is something that you should be excited about. Even ordinary persons who do their usual vlogs and all of those things, this I think is a good addition to what the iPhone 17 has to offer.
Great.
It also talks about the ceramic shield around the phone, so new coating which is 3 times better scratch resistance and reduce glare. So scratch resistance. I mean, those are complaining that the phone will be falling down and be. I mean,
I don't even know really. I mean, I don't know the test that they do, but I mean, every time I hear that conversations about all technology companies, especially with the mobile phone ones, talking about scratch resistant, especially to the screen and to the back and
Michael,
stain resistant.
I want you to
So
hold
it's-
your thoughts on that. I want you to hold your thoughts on that because I want us to get into some more details on what you are sharing concerning this. It will be very good for us to have some more details on that. But before then, we just want to take this quick break. We will be back after that.
After 9 electrifying seasons, Big Brother Naija is back for season 10 with 10 times the drama, 10 times the rivalry, 10 times the game. This is certified. No zero, no minus. Stream every twist and turn on Showmax. Binge all the action, every surprise, anytime, anywhere. Sign up now at showmax.com. Your front row seats to Big Brother Naija season 10. Showmax, streaming for Ghana.
The luckiest, luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. Luck is everywhere, everywhere. We no fit do with that money, we no fit do with that money, yeah. Where we go find out, not in the gutter, pick up your phone, yeah. That's everyone to wear, from one kind of city to 5K, yeah. Changing your family state, my brother, my sister, that is the way, yeah. If you want your life to get star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Let's go. Yeah. You go be the luckiest, coffee from Georgia be luckiest, from not the cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest, everybody go be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. Luck is everywhere, everywhere. You could be the luckiest.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back. This is Geek Squad with your girl Adobea Biritwum. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Tonight we've been having a conversation on the Apple release that happened last week and then a bit about their software update too. And I'm having a conversation with Kenneth Awachindako and Michael Ashali. Just before we went on the break, Michael, we were talking about the iPhone 17 and you were just mentioning something about the scratch resistance that they have put in place and all that. Can we just get into some more details of that?
I mean, it's a promise that they've been making for some time, and I definitely agree that it's high time that we get to the point where some simple things, people can put their phones in their pocket with keys in it, or something with just some regular
I'm so
buttons on
careful
it.
with that.
Yeah, so it's a good promise, but again, some one of those things that I look forward to that I'm very much interested in avoiding now. I think that no matter what you do, your phone will still become obsolete after 2-3 years. So
Yeah.
no matter how scratch resistant it is, you still have reason to move on after maximum 4 years to change your phone, because again, the update will be catching up with you. So you have to
Does that not
change.
depend on the brand of phone you have? Because it looks like certain.
I think that the Samsung really is one of the phones that promise a lot more years when it comes to updates. So they usually promise between 6 to 7 years of updates. But again, 6 to 7 years.
You will not want to continue using that same
you
phone.
won't be using the
I
phone
mean,
at
if
the
you
time.
do, I don't think a lot of people actually care, because I know somebody who is still using a phone they bought like 8-9 years ago.
What model?
I've forgotten the model. It was one of our editors. That's why I don't want to mention the person. But yeah, so the person has been using the phone for so long. I don't think that the conversations about the iOS use, the interface, some of those conversations don't matter to them. Again, definitely scratch resistant doesn't matter, because we just buy some 50 CD screen protector and then throw it away after some time. So I think some of those conversations don't really matter. For me, for the iPhone 17, what I know that you are getting the most out of is the vapor chamber. And any day
That's
I'm
for
more
the
than
Pro.
happy for it because
Yeah, the Pro.
I'm also thinking about real life use cases. So many times people are outdoor and the sun is blazing and you're taking a video, you're using your phone, and after a few minutes, and they tell you that it's too hot. Yeah. So, and that whole thing about your phone cannot work until after it feels it's cool down, it's annoying. So to have vapor chamber definitely come on that lessens the number of times your phone overheats when you are using it in high pressure situations like that. I'm 100% for it, and it's a very good addition that I'm sure that some other companies will be looking at how they can also easily adapt to some of them. Some of them already have it, but just maybe the Apple use case may give them more reason to upgrade theirs, and that's what sometimes Apple is very good at too.
Yeah.
To come from behind, but to lead
Make it
sometimes.
look
Yeah.
like.
So I think that's one of those things that it's good for the iPhone 17 that
Yeah.
any day I think that
Yeah.
will work.
Yeah.
One thing that also stood out for me is the size, the storage size. I mean, for the 17 Pro Max, you can go up to 2 terabytes now, and I think that is a very good addition. I can understand why they do that because your phones are taking incredibly huge or beautiful pictures that
Yeah.
are so many
Yeah.
Sizes,
thousands
yeah.
and
The size
thousands
is
of
very
what
high.
do you call it, megapixels.
yeah.
So you need more space. That the regular picture that you take that will be say 5 megabytes will now be somewhere like
It's taking a
more
lot
than
of
100
space.
megabytes. So definitely you need more space to, to keep up with that.
Yeah.
But buying a bigger space also means that you have to buy a bigger iCloud space because when you're moving to your next phone,
Yeah.
you're not going to use the iCloud, then hallelujah. But if you're going to use iCloud, it means that you need at least 2 terabytes of iCloud to store everything
Which
that
will
you
cost
have.
more.
Exactly.
Yes.
But on device is something I'm all good for. 2 terabytes on your phone. That's 2 hard drives in your pocket. So it's a very good addition for me. These are my two major takeaways apart from the small bits and pieces of the Apple Intelligence that I'm also getting as well on the iPhone 17.
Yeah. Kenneth, I want to ask you this. For someone who is listening in right now and then thinking about it, that with the conversation we are having, they want to think about getting any of these new releases, depending on what kind of phone they are using. We had that conversation of, so what can they look at getting if they want to really see significant changes and then value for their money?
Yeah, so off air we're having a conversation about how usually the starting point of the next line of iPhones, usually the baseline for the regular next iPhone would usually be from the Pro Max of the previous series.
Yes.
So for instance, if we are looking at right now, we're talking about the iPhone 17. Where the features will start from the 17 are usually what's the baseline for that is usually the 16 Pro Max.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a very dicey situation when someone wants to move from the iPhone 16 to the 17, because if you are moving from, and usually people don't want to stay within the same range.
Yeah.
So from a 15 or a 16 would like to go to a 17. But then if you think about the fact that the 17 starts from, or the quality of the 17 usually are things that are carried on or just increase a little bit from the previous edition. People do not usually want to go for the first line. They usually want to go for the Pro or the Pro Max. Right now, what Apple has done by introducing the iPhone Air makes it very difficult to even maybe, or if you are someone that's considering buying the new advanced ones, because you do not want to necessarily jump from a 16 to the 17 and you want to go beyond that, thinking about the baseline factor, you want to say, okay, I do not want to do just the 17. I want to do the 17, the one after the 17.
Yeah.
But the one after the 17 is the iPhone Air.
Yeah.
And that also has its own issues. The backlash we've talked about since the show began. So if you look at all those things and consider the fact that you think that maybe it's just too glamorous and doesn't give you the best case uses that you want to apply it to, means that you do not want to also do that. So from a 16, instead of going to a 17, people would rather consider, okay, if they have the budget, they would consider not doing the 17, and instead of doing like the 17, the next one is the iPhone Air, which they do not want to do as well. So you have to be forced to do the 17 Pro or 17 Pro Max.
Max.
But all of these, I mean, there's budget constraints that you have to consider in terms of buying some of these phones.
Yeah.
And also if you really even need to advance,
That's the
because
whole point.
a lot of the things that the 17 is doing, you are able to achieve in
If
terms
you're
of
using a
what your job is or what your day-to-day activities are. If you're able to achieve them through your 16 or your 15 or your 14, it really is a no-brainer if you are
Go ahead.
considering going ahead. But if you are someone that, I mean, for one, if you love the glamour of it, that's fine.
I think that's it for Apple users anyway.
A lot of Apple
When
users
they
actually,
identify with like they
Yes.
belong to.
that brand association, that eliteness that, I mean, supposedly
Yeah,
comes with
yeah.
holding a product as that. So if you are in for that, that's fine. But if it's not something that, I mean, gets any extra work done for you in terms of your day-to-day activities, I don't think that it's I mean, cast in stone that you have to
You
move
need
to
to.
the next one as well. But if it definitely increases your efficiency in terms of life and its quality, why not go for it?
As if Apple doesn't force you at a point, because that's what usually happens with Apple users. So I asked, what would make you change your phone? And then I have this response from Susan. I said, I'll only change my phone when it is not functioning well. So Susan could be the person who has been using the phone for 8 years
I
now.
mean, because if I ask you that, Ken, when was the last time you took a picture of yourself with your own phone?
I'll say
But
today.
Today.
When I came here.
You are using your phone. Right? Yeah, because I have a new phone. It's been 2 weeks, and I don't have a picture of myself on it.
I have pictures of everybody else.
No, that's the point. Like,
You've not even taken
No,
any
I can show you my gallery. There's nothing there.
Why?
I
Then
think
you
you
don't
do a
use
live.
it.
See, these are all documents from my work. All documents and screenshots. You will find a picture that I use my phone to take. I'm like, so wait.
So what are you using the phone for?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Michael goes on the field. You go on the
So-
field all the time. How don't you have pictures? How don't you
So-
have pictures
so,
on your phone?
the point really is to the fact that, I mean, everybody has to consider their use for a phone, and that will determine whether you have to move on or
I
not.
get you.
Arguably, the Pros and the Pro Maxes are for, or largely was made for a group of people that were going to substitute their cameras for a mobile phone, which could possibly be doing almost the same work. And that's what I think Apple really does very well with, getting us very closer to the point where a regular camera-only device is just as having a mobile phone, something can use to make a phone call that takes the same picture.
Yeah.
So for the pros, I think that for those who are into the photography, the videography area, you are definitely thinking about buying the next best thing on the market.
Does it mean you are underutilizing your phone?
Personally, I
You are.
thank you for letting me regret buying this phone because really, if you think about, so that's a conversation everybody definitely has to have with
Yeah.
themselves. What you are buying and why you're buying the phone. If you're a
Yeah.
big flirt or you're a big show off, then buying the latest phone is always a good reason to buy it. That if you're going to go
Whether
to the
you
next,
use it or
if you're
not.
going to go to
Yeah.
the next Blackwood event, you're going to go to the next event this December, and you're going to put up your phone, and everybody has to see the phone because I mean, when you raise your camera, everybody knows that. Can
they
tell
just look at the
whether you
real
have the
estate on the
latest or
back
the
of your
old
phone and
because
they
of
know.
the changes to the base that the
Yeah,
camera sits
the
on
camera,
now.
yeah.
Everybody can tell that you're using a 17, you are not using a 17. So thank you, Apple, for the discrimination.
Exactly.
Making it very easy for everybody to see that I'm using a
old
very, very
phone
old
version,
phone. Yeah. So
yeah.
there's that conversation that I think that everybody must have with themselves. Choosing what you're going to be using your phone for, whether that should push you to buy the next phone. And the point Kenneth made is very important, that usually if you are jumping phones, right, if you are using a 14 and thinking of buying a 15, you might just as well buy don't buy a 50, buy a 16. Or if you are buying even a 50 above a 14, don't buy a 15 base phone, because
Yeah.
the 14 Pro Max is almost just like the 15.
Yeah.
So you may want to buy the Pro or the Pro Maxes.
Yeah.
But again, Pro and Pro Maxes, you won't use it that much. I mean, what you get from a the Pro phones are the wide that you are possibly going to be getting, and
Yeah.
the and the some of the sensors that it comes with. It comes with an additional sensor, so you have one for. And most people don't notice that the 3 cameras don't take pictures every time you are taking a picture.
Yes. It
Arguably,
depends
there's
on-
only one at every point in
Yeah.
time. There's one that helps you take the the 0.5 like can squeeze so much people in so
Yeah.
small space, and one that helps you
Can
to
zoom
zoom.
in, yeah.
So it's just what we have to think about. That am I going to be taking a lot of pictures with more people in it that I need to compress them into the frame, or I'm going to take a picture of a few people I want to zoom into it.
And also take more pictures of yourself as well.
Well, I mean,
Surprise.
so I mean, I always buy a phone knowing that my sisters are the ones going to choose the phone,
Then let them use it.
and not me.
Kenneth, final words. It looks like Michael has already given his.
Yeah. I think we've said everything already. I mean, we've mentioned all the features that the new iPhone 7 range comes with, including the Air as well. If you think that there are features that you'd want to use, if you think that it increases your social status, that's fine. If you think you have the budget for it, that's fine. If you also think that it fits your lifestyle and the work that you do and increase your efficiency, you can consider it. But if none of those categorizations fall within your circles, then you really don't need it.
You just have to
Do
check
you actually
yourself.
want to ask me, Alas? I have something to say about Apple
20
Intelligence.
seconds, 20
I beg you,
seconds.
Apple, give us a proper, intelligent Apple Intelligence. I beg you.
I hope they hear
Let's
you.
have that.
I hope
But
they
but
hear
there's
you.
good use case for it, especially for the live translation. You don't get this anywhere else
Yeah.
in the world. So I think that there's good use for Apple Intelligence. What we need is they should give us what they promised. That's all.
They should give what they promised. Thank you so much, Michael Ashale and Kenneth Awachindako, for joining me this evening. A very big thank you to you for listening in or for viewing us on any of our social media handles. Another thank you to the technical team, my producer Prince Safo, and all of you. Really grateful. God willing, next week we will be back. Stay tuned.